In view of the progress the school was making and in respect for the principal, the government sanctioned a substantial amount towards further extension of the school buildings. Beautiful landscaping with plants and trees was commissioned in the garden in front of the school buildings. A beautiful large fountain was built and it was kept constantly filled with water, and there were several varieties of fish in the fountain. There was a beautiful peacock that was admired by the pupils as they passed by the garden or on their way to the assembly hall. This peacock was a special present to the principal, Mr. Mahdi, from his friend Mr. Muhammad Hussain Sharif Jiwa, who had received it from an English farmer in Arusha, where he had lived previously. There were 2 water ponds adjacent with lotus flowers and with very tiny fishes, and one could see various species of insects whizzing past. Center of attraction among the displays in the school compound was a large bird cage next to the assembly hall in the garden area. There were 6 pairs of beautiful budgerigars and 2 pairs of local birds. On top of the cage was a large drawing showing a boy with a sling in hand aiming at a little bird seated on a tree. The caption below read, "Don't do that, little friend." This was set up to inculcate a human touch with kindness towards birds and indirectly towards other living beings.
A literary society was established. The following office bearers were elected: Mustafa Muhammad Ali, President; Nargis Qasim, Secretary. On the same day, Hassan Hussein Rashid was elected as the head prefect. The school had a debating society as well. 4 new pupils from every class from Standard 4 onwards were compelled to take part. This practice had helped them a great deal to overcome stage fright, the worst enemy of speakers. Though the debating society of the school could not boast of many orators, it had succeeded in making many boys to come forward voluntarily and speak for at least 3 minutes in flawless, if not fluent English. Every year, the chairman was elected from the boys and the secretary from the girls. For 1960, Shaukat Qasim of Standard 7 and Kulsum Nazrali of Standard 6 were elected as the chairman and secretary respectively. In 1958, the school went for a Toki 16mm film projector, and from then on, every other Wednesday afternoon, pupils had been shown 2 films of great educational value in the school hall. It was possible for the school, therefore, to impart visual education to the pupils. Shell Company of East Africa Limited helped by lending film strips to the school. The school hall, which was used for these film shows, was subjected to the envious glances of batches and batches of teachers and pupils of the other schools of Mombasa in July 1959, when they were shown the film about the visit of the Queen Mother to East Africa. Motivation talks and enlightening talks were presented to the pupils. In June 1958, Mr. Chaman Lal, a widely known journalist who was touring the world, paid the school a visit and gave a simple but a highly interesting talk to the pupils on how to be good citizens. A well-known scout of Pakistan, Mr. Taqi Mohsin, who was hitchhiking along the highways of the world, was kind enough to pose at the school and to entertain the pupils by recounting his various adventures. The Queen Mother visited Mombasa in February 1958, and 20 pupils from the school were specially selected to go to the airport to receive her. The King's African Rifles Band played God Save the Queen in a very grand manner in the presence of the governor, the provincial commissioner, and the Livali for the coast, and many other leading personalities of Mombasa. Our group of pupils were accommodated right near these famous personalities. Next day, the younger pupils, in their fancy dresses, and the older ones with banners, buntings, and Union Jacks, went to the Manor Hotel side to greet the Queen Mother. The children felt very much flattered as Her Majesty gave a special smile to our children. A visit to a printing press was arranged for the pupils of the school. It was called Mercantile Printing Works. The pupils were cordially welcomed and shown round the press with detailed explanations of each machine. The pupils not only found the trip informative and educational, but also enjoyable. A tour to the Tsavo National Park was arranged on 18th September 1959 with 40 pupils and 10 teachers. The principal, Mr. S.A.Mahdi, personally accompanied the group to provide the personal care and supervision himself. They visited Lugard Falls and Mazima Springs, and Mr. Braganza from the Ministry of Works met them, and not only did he explain water supply system to the group, but also took them to the important places around the springs. They saw hippos and many kinds of fish in the crystal clear water of Mzima Springs. During the trip, the pupils saw lots of wild animals, in particular elephants. It was a very educational and enjoyable trip for the pupils. The Progress magazine had an editorial board. The editor was Mrs. Margaret Antow. The sub-editors were Mr. Dhyan Chand Kar and Mr. N.H. Loving. The student editors were Miss Shirin Rashid and Master Murtaza Magji. The first issue of the Progress magazine was published in 1957. Mr. A.V. Hatfield, the provincial education officer, sent an encouraging letter of praise. I would like to congratulate those responsible for producing the magazine, which is an excellent piece of work, he said regarding the first issue. And he sent his photograph for the second issue. The public at large and friends of the school complimented it. The magazine had been the result of the virgin efforts of the children who not so long back in the near past could hardly frame a sentence in English. The success of the issue was attributed to the efforts of the pupils. The Progress magazine was so named as a tribute to the rapid magical progress which was being effected in the school at such short notice. A school magazine should be a record not only of the achievements gained, but also of the achievements to be aimed at. Moreover, a school magazine is a convenient means of conveying to the child's parents and to the public news of the doings of the child in the school and about what the school does for the child. The magazine issues contain lots of photos, editorial, the principal's message, articles from students, and was a rich treasure that has been instrumental in providing a lot of the material for this video movie.